Welcome to all of you on the channel Maths with Muneer. I hope that you all are doing great and watching my videos. So in my previous video we have learned that how we can apply the completing square method technique on any general equation and how we can get our solution basically. So what does it mean by when we say that how we can get our solution? Let's take for a moment that you have this quadratic equation in front of you which have the variable x square. So there are basically three methods in order to solve any quadratic equation. Either you can use the midterm breaking, either you can use the completing square formula, or either you can use the quadratic formula in order to get your solution. Once we say that in order to get your solution, it means basically to find out that value of x, or if you are having the variable y, so to find out that value of x or for y in which this equation is basically equals to 0. So what we are going to do now, today we are going to take two examples and we will learn how we can apply the completing square technique on those two examples, and then we'll get our solution. So the example is today, the first example that we have taken is basically 2x square plus 5x minus 7 equals to 0. Okay, like I said in my previous video, the first step is basically to shift your constant from this side of the equation to the other side. So this is what exactly we are doing over here. So this would become 2x square plus 5x is equals to 7. Now the coefficient of x square should be 1. The coefficient of x square should be 1 in order to apply completing square technique. So over here we are having the x square coefficient, the coefficient of x square we are having is basically 2. So the only one way that we can get rid of this 2, that we will divide the whole equation with 2. So once you divide the whole equation with 2, you will get x square. 2 with 2 will cancel. Over here you will get 5 over 2, x equals to 7 over 2. Now, so from this step we know that this is basically a square plus this is a and this is going to be your b. So we are going to write it into a form of a square plus 2ab plus b square. So I want you to have your full attention on this step because that is going to be a very important. No matter if you are solving 10 questions without concept, then you are never going to get your marks. So, but if you are solving 2 questions with proper concept, so it means that you have an idea. So no matter what type of quadratic equation you are having, you can always apply the completing square technique on that because you have the concept. Now, so we will write it as x square. This is basically a square and we know that a is basically x, so we will write x first, and 5 over 2 is basically b and we will write that, and over here we will write as 7 over 2. So I did nothing special. So what I did, I just used the bracket for you in order to have a better understanding. Now the formula says a square plus 2ab, and we can clearly see that over here we are not having 2. So if you are introducing the 2 over here and you are just multiplying with 2, it means that you are going against the laws of mathematics. I told you so many times in my previous video that we have to maintain the balance in equation. So if somewhere you are adding something extra from your side, you have to subtract it so that the equation remains balanced. So if we are multiplying with 2 over here, so we have to divide with 2 over here as well. So if you divide with 2 over here as well, so that 2 will multiply with that 2 and this will become basically 4. So I can erase this 2 from here. So you see, by multiplying and dividing by 2, we are not changing the equation. The equation still remains in balance. So you can go back from this step to this step. Okay, now we know that we have a square, we know that 2ab, the only term that is missing is basically b square because the formula is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So I will add the term b square on both sides of the equation. Remember, on both sides of the equation. So I can write 2 into x into 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4 square. I add it on this side and I am going to add it to the other side. It will become 5 over 4 square. Now we know that this is the on your left hand side, this is basically complete a square plus 2ab plus b square. So you will write it as a plus b is 5 over 4, a plus b whole square, that will be equals to 7 over 2 plus, once you simplify this, 5 square will be 25 and 4 square will be 16. So I can write it as 25 over 16. Okay, so now we have to do some quick manipulation in order to simplify the right hand side a little more. We will take down the LCM. LCM will be 16 and 2 times 8 is 16, 8 times 7 is 56 plus 25. Now x plus 5 over 4 square will be equals to 56 plus 25 will be 81 over 16. Okay, now what's the idea why we are applying basically the completing square method on this quadratic equation? Because we want to find out the solution, and like I said in the beginning of this video, that what does it mean by in order to find the solution? It means we have to find out the value of x. We have to find that value of x for which basically this equation is becoming equals to 0. What are the values of x that we are having for which the equation is equals to 0? Of course, the left hand side and right hand side have been written equal, so it means that they are equal and there is a balance between them. So for that, to find out that value of x, we have to make alone x over here. And how we can make that x alone? First of all, by getting rid this of square. Okay, so I am going to take square root on both sides, because square and square root, they both are opposite to each other and they will cancel. So it would become x plus 5 over 4 equals to plus minus square root of 81 is basically 9 and square root of 16 is basically 9 over 4. Okay, now we have two values, which is plus 9 over 4 and the minus 9 over 4. So we are going to solve it for both the values, and let's see what it will become. So it would be x equals to 9 of x plus 5 over 4 equals to 9 over 4, and we can draw a line to make sure that we are separating the two different values that we have got. One is in plus and one is minus. So it would be, once you shift 5 over 4 to the other side, it would become minus. So x will be equals to 9 minus 5 will be 4, and 4 over 4 will give you 1, and over here x will be equals to minus 9 over 4 and then minus 5 over 4. So simplify this, this would become minus 14 over 4, which is basically minus 7 over 2. So these are the two values that we have got for x. So I am leaving this task for you. I want you to plug in the value of x. First plug in the value of x1 over here, and then plug in the value of x, which is minus 7 over 2 over here, and you will see that the left hand side will also be 0 and also the right hand side is also 0. So if somewhere by putting x equals to 1 you are not getting 0 equals to 0, it means that your this value is wrong, so you have to check it. Or if by putting minus 7 over 2 0 is not equals to 0, it means that this value is also 0. So this is the beauty of math, is that you can always cross check, you can always verify the solution that you did is completely fine or not. So I am sure that you must be having a copy and pen with you and you are noting down all these steps and try to do them over and over again. So once you are not perfect, you should not move forward. Try to solve these examples again. You can take some multiple example and then you can be eventually good in applying how to apply the completing square method. So let's take another example which is going to be a little tough than this, and we will solve how we can apply the completing square method on that. So the second example that we are getting, so it is basically minus x square minus 3x plus 4 is equals to 0. So this is the example. Let me check. Yep. So this is the example that we are going to take, minus x square minus 3x plus 4 equals to 0. Okay. So again, in this example, I told you we have to make the coefficient of x square basically alone. It should be positive 1, and over here we are having minus 1. So before going into that detail, we will shift 4 to the other side. So minus x square minus 3x is equals to minus 4. Okay, so now in order to eliminate from this minus, we will multiply the whole equation with minus, and it will become x square plus 3x will be equals to 4. Okay, now x square plus over here we have x, b is 3 equals to 4. We don't have 2 over here. We don't have 2 over here. If we are simply multiplying with 2, it means that it's wrong, because once you multiply them it would become 6x, but in the above step we have 3x. So how we can have 3x? If we divide with 2 over here as well. So you see, if you divide with 2 and if you multiply with 2, so 2 will cancel, then it will give you the same thing. So by doing this step, we got to know that our b is basically 3 over 2. So again the same step, 2 into x into 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2 b, which is your b square, and we are adding on both sides of the equation, 3 over 2 square. Now this whole will become your formula for x plus 3 over 2. Why? Because it's a square plus 2ab plus b square will be a plus b whole square equals to 4 plus 3 square will be 9 and 2 square will be 4. Okay, so now on right hand side we will take down the LCM. So it is x plus 3 over 2 whole square is equals to 4 plus 9 over 4. So once you take down the LCM will be 4, and 1 times 4 and 4 times 4 is basically 16 plus 9. Now x plus 3 over 2 whole square is equals to 25 over 4. Okay, the same step that we are doing. Now we have to take the square root on both sides in order to eliminate that. So it would be x plus 3 over 2 equals to plus minus 5 over 2. So the first value of x that we are having is going to be, let me erase this part again. So it would be x plus 3 over 2 is equals to 5 over 2, and x is equals x plus 3 over 2 is equals to minus 5 over 2. Now shift this 3 over 2 to the other side, it would become minus 3 over 2, and 5 minus 3 will be 2, and 2 divided by 2 will give you 1. So we got the value, one value of x, which is basically 1. Now over here do the same thing, shift this 3 over 2 to the other side, minus 3 over 2, and then minus 5 minus 3 would be minus 8, minus 8 over 2 will give you minus 4. So again these are the two values of x that we have got for this quadratic equation, which is minus x square minus 3x plus 4 equals to 0. So again, once you are putting these two values back into your original equation, you must get, and you should get, 0 equals to 0 for this side, for this value of x, and also for this value of x you should get 0 equals to 0. So if you are not getting that, it means you did something wrong. So please, if you are new to my channel, so do not forget to subscribe this channel and click on the bell icon so that you would be notified every time when the new video is published. So share this link as much as you can with your friend so that it could reach to maximum student and it would help them in this way.